Hello, my name is Dmitry, and
Hello, I'm Vava.
today we're here to record our first podcast about international security and all other interesting stuff that lies in between this.
Yes, in our series, we would like to focus on the topic of international security and mostly transatlantic security and relations. We decided to make a podcast about this because we're deeply interested in this topic, and there aren't many news outlets precisely about this topic.
Yeah, exactly. And besides this, we wanted to bring some academic perspective into podcasting because, like, we're both like students of John F. Kennedy Institute at Friar University, and we think it's a good idea so other students can use our ideas. So, like, think about like international relations and international security through academic perspective, and yeah, I guess that's how it works.
Yes, we'll be discussing current political issues, international issues, applying academic reasoning to them, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, so let's start.
Possibly the most interesting and the most heated topic right now in terms of international relations and security will be Syria. In addition to the civil war that has been going on for quite some time already, we have some interesting developments right now happening there with the Turkish offensive against the Kurds in northern Syria.
Yeah, I would say kind of Syria hit the headlines recently just because of this Kurdish like offense operation by Turks and like American withdrawal, partial withdrawal from Kurdish region, and so yeah, an interesting question to understand and to process why it's happening right now. I guess like there can be numerous explanations, and that's why what we want to demonstrate to you that it's not like kind of connected to one factor, but probably to many more factors.
It is very interesting because of the game of alliances that plays out right there. Officially, Turkey is an ally of the US, and so are the Kurds. And currently, we're facing two US allies facing each other. And we have Russia in the equation, who officially supports Bashar al Assad. And also, Turks are pretty close with Moscow recently. But right now, they stood against the US, they stood against Russia because Russia condemns their actions and actually plays against them. So, did Turkey isolate itself by this move on the international scale?
I wouldn't say so. I mean, this the whole question of bargaining, I guess, from Turkish side, because there's definitely some bargaining between Turkey and the US, between Turkey and Russia, regarding and I guess just Turkey wants to enhance its positions because for Turkey it's like definitely important to be not to say dominant power, but just like to be great power in the region. But I mean, I would turn like my vision and perspective from like kind of international level probably to domestic, because it's mainly more explanatory in this case, because in Turkish case Turkey has like very turbulent situation in terms of I mean recently Erdogan lost mayor elections in Turkey, and that's maybe one of the reasons why he can launch this offense, like to, and maybe it's another reason for Trump to withdraw from Syria, because like he's under impeachment process, and it's a good kind of thing that can attract attention of other people, so people won't think about impeachment so much.
Well, in terms of Donald Trump, did it really help him? Even the Republicans are criticizing his decision to abandon the Kurds and leave them for just for themselves against the Turks. Even the Republicans are against some, not all of them, of course, some of them are against this decision. Did it really help him?
Yeah, that's definitely it. I mean, Trump always. It's not a big news. I guess it was for some. I guess I can recall like the year 2018. That Trump already kind of emphasized the need to withdraw from Syria and need to withdraw American troops from Syria, and there was like a decision made, and then he kind of abandoned this decision to withdraw from Syria finally. But I don't know whether it helps him. I mean, it definitely doesn't help him like domestically. But I mean, it's still kind of distract like opponents from like probably some other stuff that is going on in the U.S., particularly I guess impeachment, and yeah, I mean Trump's thinking is kind of peculiar one, and it was like unexpectedly. Yeah, that's. I mean, what do you think about this? It's kind of like just announced like in a few hours, and then the like withdrawal followed in 2 or 3 days.
Yes, this is actually very interesting, and this is why many people think that it was all agreed with Turkey because it happened so quickly, and right after the U.S. started the withdrawal, Turkey entered Kurdish grounds. This is why many people have this conspiracy theories that basically Washington gave a green light for the Turkish offensive, even though they do not admit it.
Yeah, I mean, so all troop movements, they definitely have some coordination, if it's not like on political level, but on a military level. Even like Russia, for example, Russia and the US still have like this joint operational committee when they kind of like should announce their decisions beforehand in order to have casualties and unexpected events going on. But yeah, and let's maybe focus like a little bit on Europe. Why is it important for like transatlantic security? I would name like migrants probably.
Yes, the issue of migration is the most important one for the European Union right now. Well, we're currently in an era of what many call a migration crisis in Europe. And, well, Turkey plays the migration card as a bargaining card in international relations. They basically threaten the EU that if they condemn their operations, we're going to send more migrants your way. We'll just release them and they'll flood your job markets and take your stuff, and it'll be an apocalypse for you.
And especially amid this populist rise, it's just like a good fuel for them, and a good like kind of endorsement of populists. I mean, if you want to see this from this kind of side. Yeah, and we also I can also recall, for example, Germany's proposal to introduce kind of internationally recognized kind of safe zone, something like internationally patrolled safe zone. I mean, the idea was kind of eventually abandoned because I mean, Germany relied, I guess, on NATO forces. I guess not NATO forces, but like the US forces, because it was kind of unclear who going to like take responsibility of this neutral zone.
Well, definitely the Germans.
Yeah, definitely not. And finally, what we have now is this kind of Russian-Turkish security zone, based on agreements like from last week when like Erdogan visited Putin. Yeah, and. But it's still going on, and I guess there will be some more events coming. What do you think, or the next developments that you expect?
Well, additionally, I would like to say that whether or not Trump is a winner here or Erdogan is a winner or loser, I can for sure say that Bashar al-Assad is a winner here, because basically he solved for himself the Kurdish problem. Right now, his troops are entering Kurdish grounds; they're cooperating. So this maybe we'll see the resolution of the Kurdish issue in Syria soon. Right now, Kurds and the Syrian government are cooperating against a common enemy, basically.
Well, yeah, it's also an interesting question because, like, you can remember, I guess, in 2014, maybe before Russian moved troops there, like that, everyone else had like, okay, it's going to like, end fast, and Assad just doesn't have like any future. And like from this now on, we can see that it's like people were wrong, and it's definitely flip flopped. And now Assad like has all the power, almost all the power of all regions that he fought, and yeah, I guess this problem of Kurds can be resolved because Russia especially works very hard. Like Russia works with Kurds at the same time, and it works with Assad. It works with Turkey, and Turkey, for example, doesn't support like Assad officially. I mean, it's an interesting process going on. But I guess maybe we can look at the perspective that America just abandoned Syria in terms of like it withdrew from the Geneva process with Trump, and after that the whole process deal making in the region, kind of in this particular area conflict zone, now locates in this Astana process, like where it's like Turkey, Iran, and Russia. So that's also like. We can see how this American kind of not isolationism, we can say, kind of affects international politics and affects this international politics in this region.
Yes, I guess here we see a change in U.S. foreign policy regarding deployment of troops abroad. Maybe it's a beginning of a gradual return to isolationism, or at least withdrawal from being present everywhere in the world and being the world's policeman.
Yeah, but it's still a question when they're gonna withdraw like all troops there, because there's still some. And are they gonna like now they're like all troops that withdrew from Syria, they're now stationed, I guess, in Iraq, and it's like the question whether they're gonna stay there or gonna be dislocated there, like vis-a-vis like Iran and vis-a-vis like this threat, or they're gonna like be sent home. That's another question, but I guess let's probably kind of warp up this topic about Syria. But it's you should like definitely pay attention to this in the future, because it's in the news.
Yes, definitely. Well, what I can say about my predictions is that you cannot predict what Trump will do. So, and also there are so many factors to take into consideration that it's impossible to see how this will play out. So, to guess how it will play out. So, I guess we'll have to just wait and see.
Yeah, nothing to add. Nothing to add. And we're moving to the next topic, and this is the budgeting. So, and the next topic that concerns, again, that should concern a lot of Americans and that concern us, is a budgeting in the U.S., and particular all the process that refers to military budgeting and the military budget. Yeah, that is now in the process of procedure, the process of improvement. So, what do you think about what's going on there? And
Well, from what I can see, the Republicans are asking for an increase in defense spending, which faces some opposition in the Congress, especially that some Democrats are even for de-armament.
yeah, the biggest in American history, like
Yeah,
way
the
way bigger
biggest.
than even after 9/11.
Yes, it's interesting that in an era after the Cold War, which we'll think that we'll see de-armament, we see pushes to further deployment of troops, to multiplying the amount of nuclear weapons as well. So, what do you think pushes the Republicans to push for increase in military spending?
So it's interesting for me because I've like thought a lot about this, and I guess it just I guess like a few factors. Like I guess the most important, like for me, it's like just this hysteria about Russia and China. It's like the main idea that America should respond, that America should enhance its positions, and for me, it's also important the factor that it's primarily driven by this like security apparatus, so to speak. There's like a big chunk of American bureaucracy that's somehow connected to military, like to security and to military. And it's a Pentagon. It's yeah, and this is so. Would you say it's like a very big increase for you, like just?
Well, let's start from the fact that the U.S. already has enormous military spending.
Enormous.
It's unmatched by any other power, even China, Russia.
I mean,
well,
it's-
not yet.
If
at
you sum
least.
up all like military budgets, I guess it's still not be enough to kind of catch up with America.
Yes,
with the
so
US.
it's interesting why some of the Americans want to push for even more. I think no one really questions their domination in terms of military power. They have tons of aircraft carriers deployed all over the world. There are only two nations on the planet that have nuclear-powered carriers. They have troops in the Middle East. They have troops in Europe,
Everywhere.
and more troops are being deployed to Europe. Some troops are being pulled out from Syria, but that doesn't mean that the American presence in the world, well, it's by no means diminishing.
By no means. I
Is
guess
this like is this some symptom of the American fear of China that they're going to surpass them soon?
yeah, I guess if I look at this from like these two perspectives because like first I guess it's like just the idea that it's still kind of very influential like in American like security circles. It's like we just need to be first. We just need to outpace. So it's like we always need to deter and we always need to be well more equipped, be well more prepared than our enemy, potential enemy. It's just like very like I would say it's academic idea because like it's just like this the whole idea of deterrence is kind of is rooted like in the Pentagon and all this system. And second, just I just say that they want money because they can get them. I mean, there's just idea of bureaucracy because if they have a chance to have more money, they don't they don't want to lose it. You know, they just want to like go and just build this stuff and build this, and it's also like provide working places. If you like go to like the demise of INF, for example, if you go to the idea of coming back like to the actual building this intermediate range nuclear missiles, it still provides some, for example, workplaces.
Yes, about the workplaces, I guess you can stretch it a bit. Maybe it is aimed at fueling the arms industry in the US.
Yeah, exactly.
For example, let's look at the main factor, airplanes. Basically, the main manufacturer of military airplanes, Boeing, right now is not doing too well on the market. They have some failed products, civilian ones. So maybe they'll want to, I know, regain some steam by getting military projects and getting some commissions and getting new jobs from the government.
Oh yeah, I guess they're just thirsty. They're thirsty for this. It's like just the idea. I mean, if you just understand how much this budget is, I mean, it's not just a lot. It's like it's
enormous.
It's enormous. Yeah, you can feel this vibe. I would say from people who just who just like wanna just really spend this money on defense, and I mean it's a very good reason for them because I mean it's easy to justify your actions when you say okay, Russia does like this stuff like with nukes, and China modernizes its military very fast, and so we should do as well. Like we should do the same, but yeah, I guess like the whole now it's what kind of on the road of approving this budget. Like there's like this hurdle of Democrats that really oppose the idea of tactical nukes that kind of introduced like that were proposed in this budget. So why is it important for you? Like for example.
Well, basically, tactical nuclear weaponry already implies escalating the war from conventional warfare to nuclear warfare, be it tactical, not strategic. But from just tactical deployments and usage of nuclear weapons, it's really close for it to escalate even further. Like, come on, I'm sure that if anyone would use nuclear weapon in such a conflict, the other side would respond, and the first side would escalate, the other one would as well. So I guess people are just afraid of using nuclear weapons at all.
Yeah, I guess the idea is just disastrous because, like, I mean, like Trump said, like we have nukes. Why shouldn't we use them? For God's sake, we already have them, and this is just idea, like disastrous idea, just like to use nuclear, like just tactical nuclear missiles or low yield nuclear missiles, just to win in the like conventional war. That's what they propose. They say, okay, we probably need some nukes for conventional war, which like, kind of sounds stupid. Just the whole concept is stupid.
Well, the whole concept originates already in the Korean War, and General MacArthur, who proposed winning the Korean War with nukes, and then the government opposed this idea. So this idea is a long story of being opposed.
Yeah, we hope, I guess, like it won't find its place in current military budget. I mean, in military budget for 2020. But let's see. I mean, they push really hard, and I guess it's the bone of contention right now. And the idea is, for a while, like we haven't seen such like big debates about like military budget. It's also very interesting. I guess like we record this on Wednesday. Today there should be like some voting was kind of on this military
Perhaps, I'm not sure.
in Senate, and yeah, I guess it will take some time to approve it, and it should also keep track of this, right?
Yes, we will for sure.
Yeah. So and we kind of finish the discussion of military budget and go to our another topic. And now we're going to discuss and kind of like the final topic for today is like elections, and we have two things to consider. It's like the last Canadian elections
Yes.
and Polish elections.
So, in terms of Canadian elections, is there really that much to discuss? I mean, we have basically the same government, Justin Trudeau leading the country.
Yeah, but now with the help of other parties, and he still lost his majority. And I guess, I mean, it's not important in terms of security, I guess, so much. It's maybe important for people, just like the whole idea of liberalism, because like he was a beacon, like Canada was like literally like a beacon of democracy. It's like the only kind of like democratic country that wasn't like so influenced by populists. Now it's not about populism right now, but I guess just about like Trudeau and his difficulties. It's like because like a lot of people call him hypocrite because he like just because of this pipeline and that he wants to build, and he still insists on building this pipeline despite like his all this talks and all this like ideas about environment, for example. So yeah, for me, not really in terms of security, but probably in terms of ideas and just, it's still, even if you're liberal, you still have to like, kind of do your laundry and dirty stuff because it's politics and you can't escape this.
Yes, true.
Yeah, let's maybe move to Polish elections.
Yes, I guess here's something much more interesting happened because it was a kind of an unexpected result. So basically, the ruling party they won the election, but by a far lesser margin than they expected. They got 235 seats in the parliament as a whole, their coalition, but the ruling party cannot rule by themselves. They have 199 seats. So basically, they have to rely on two smaller parties that are in coalition with them, who both have 17 seats. And here starts a very interesting topic, whether they'll be able to build a government together, because both of the leaders of the smaller parties, that being Zbigniew Ziobro and Jarosław Gowin, they have a history of working against Jarosław Kaczyński. Okay. Jarosław Gowin used to be in the previous governments of the current opposition, so we cannot be sure if he will support the current government. And also we finally have leftist parties in the parliament. So that's a huge change. And why is this important for international relations? Well, first of all, the current government, Law and Justice, is anti-European Union, openly,
very anti-European Union,
and very pro-American. So currently the relations between Poland and Brussels are very deteriorating.
Yeah, and
rapidly.
Vice versa, like they're like on their peak with the US.
Yes, and the relations with the US are very good. Recently, the visas for Poles were abolished in the US. There are trade deals for weapons between the two countries. So it's an interesting fact, considering that the entirety of the EU has worse relations with the US. Poland being one of the few countries that still have a very good relation with the United States. Also it's very important for the European Union itself, because many fear that after this election, Poland will share the fate of Hungary. So we'll have Viktor Orban, who rules the country, has the majority in the parliament always. And I think this is kind of what Kaczyński expected. You could see during the election night that he wasn't pleased with the result. He was expecting more. He wanted to have constitutional majority so that he could change the constitution, but he cannot. So he will have 4 more years of ruling, but he won't be able to change the political landscape drastically.
Yeah, I mean, and Poland is very famous. It's always has been on the forefront of like this struggle against like authoritarianism, communism, like, but not only, but just against the idea of authority that kind of dominates your everyday life. Yeah, and I hope things get better.
Yeah, let's hope. But we'll see. They weren't able to subjugate the judicial system during the last term. We'll see if they'll try to do it this time
This
around.
time. And which is, by the way, kind of main grievance of the EU because
Yes, they tried to really subjugate the judicial system
Yes.
to the government, which they didn't manage yet. But
Okay.
they still
still
say that
trying?
they will. Well, and what's sad that this reform has support of some of the people, well, many of the people, because the judicial system in Poland is really inefficient. You have to wait weeks to get a hearing in courts. So they're selling this reform as improvement. That we'll
Okay.
kick out the judges who are lazy,
Yes.
and we'll put hardworking judges. So some people support it, and some just don't care because, like, I've never even been to a court. Why should I care about some courts?
This passive citizens is always the problem of every
Yes,
democracy.
Every democracy, true.
Maybe not so much like Germany, because like voter turnout in Germany is one of the highest in the world, but the other people like in other European countries not so passionate.
Yes. Well, I would sum it up that Poland is a relatively young democracy. And if it survives the era of law and justice and moves forward, I would say it will be like it will have successfully passed the test of being a democratic country. If we manage to pull it off, let's
Okay.
hope we will.
Yes, let's hope. And yeah, just I guess that's it.
Yes,
So
I
we
think
are
that's it for
finishing-
today.
That's finishing our podcast.
The first episode.
Yeah, first episode. I guess I hope it was good and you enjoyed it.
Thank you for hearing everyone
yeah,
who sat down and listened.
So thank you very much, and write comments, responses, any ideas, and just personal ideas about this podcast, and let us know what you think. Bye.
And we'll see you later.